Well, hello everyone. I was grumbling in an earlier video about bumping up against the limitations of the qubit mixology with only 4 channels of input. And so after looking around, I found this. Look at all of those knobs. Look at all of those jacks. It's Nonlinear Circuits Cluster, which is a matrix mixer, 8 inputs, 4 outputs, and what is that? 8 times 4 30, 32 VCAs. And they have manual volume knobs which apply an offset to the VCA. So when you turn it up, you can actually duck the volume by applying negative voltage to it. But the matrix design, it breaks down mixing into its basic components, so it's a more modular approach. I got a pretty good deal on this. It was assembled by a guy on eBay who goes by the handle of Isohedra, and maybe I shouldn't tell you guys anything more about him because I don't want you buying his stuff before I have a chance to. Anyways, actually, this is the same person who built my 8-bit cipher and my divide and conquer, and the neuron over here I also got from him. So this is a builder whose work I can pretty much endorse. He does a good job. But anyway, the cluster, like I was saying, it breaks mixing down into its basic components. Each of these is a single input, and then with these VCAs you can send that signal to any of the 4 outputs. And so like you can have a stereo mix and then have another completely different stereo mix to send to an effect. For example, microburst has a stereo input. Most effects are mono, so in that case you would have 2 independent effect sends, and you can bring those effects back into the inputs, or what I'm doing. So I could do that with this setup because I have 2 inputs open, but I'm using my homemade passive mixer to take the master out and then also the effect out from the DSP going into these channels. And I could even use the microburst or something else, and because I have 2 more channels open here. Panning is a little more awkward because there's a separate VCA for left and right with this setup. Muting individual channels, I would have to patch into the switches in order to do that, which I might do, but after setting up this patch here and messing with it, I realized I need to move cluster to the back row because this is going to be always going to be a lot of cables here, and it's in front of stuff that I would like to be able to reach. So I'm gonna have to take this apart again and rethink this arrangement yet again. Oh, the joys of modular synthesis. You're always moving things around. Yep. But it's fun. It's fun. I'm having a good time. So anyway, let's hear. This is just my test patch to see how it feels, make sure it works. And again, there's no master fade. I could do it down here, but these are still separate, and it's hard to turn 2 knobs at the same time. So I'll turn up master volume on my mixer over here, and that works. Grids is driving, let's see, T-Kick, and one of the VCAs is getting some triangle wave modulation to make the T-Kick sort of wobble in the stereo field. My channel 3 is the Tragotronic going through streams. Channel 2, that sounds like a finger snap. It's actually a sample of rain falling that's playing from the 4MS sampler. And then I've got Platts playing the bass note, and you can barely hear it. Over on the right is the DCO providing some counterpoint. Then I'm going to turn up the effect. I have the DSP reverb on, and as I bring that up, the E950 is playing that arabesque melody, and it is being sent only to the effect. And I'm just gating that VCA with a Dresno gate. Dresno's also controlling tonic, which is providing the pitch CV for that. And this, I don't know why, but using mixology, that DSP reverb had a tendency to be really bright, like the high frequencies would pop out and just in the reverb. Maybe it was something goofy with the effect send on the mixology, because it doesn't sound like that here. So yeah, I don't know what's going on with that, but the reverb actually sounds better. This mixing technique is a little more awkward. It's more complicated to use, but it is also infinitely more flexible. So I'm still kind of torn. I'm hanging on to the mixology for now, because I'm not yet convinced that this is better. I do like it so far though, and maybe after I'm done with this and I rearrange the case and put cluster, I think it will feel better in the back row, and I'll move something to the front and rearrange things and try again. But yep, that's basically what I wanted to talk about today. And there you go. Thanks to my patrons for paying for everything as usual, and thanks to you guys for watching, and I will catch you next time.